Hello, and welcome to another episode of LunaKage and Mr. Yusuk's unnamed wrestling podcast, featuring myself, Mr. Yusuk.
Me, LunaKage.
He's dying. This may be our last episode, which is a shame. I feel like we didn't make it a full year.
We had a good run.
We literally got all the way through the year, one pay-per-view short, and Luna dies.
Well, actually, no. We did officially make it through a year as far as
Technically, yeah. Well, congratulations to us, but we'll do the real celebrating. It's Money in the Bank 2016.
Yeah,
also, stop playing with the damn. Stop playing with the damn tape measure, you handsy ass son of a bitch.
Can't help it.
Normally I wouldn't complain, but that makes noise. We are recording tonight out of Weeb Fortress International, my house, instead of the usual location.
Yeah, whenever I'm in a new location that's got a bunch of stuff, I just love checking it out.
I don't blame him. I mean, I got shit all over my desk. So.
Yeah. Like, I spend so much time in my place that I'm used to fucking everything.
Anyways, enough about my house and celebrating Money in the Bank 2016. We're here tonight to talk about Extreme Rules 2016.
Yeah.
Another one of the many B-tier pay-per-views. Usually it's more like a C-tier. Because last year's Extreme Rules was kind of lame as shit.
Was it?
I don't remember very much of it outside of Luke Harper and Dean Ambrose having the Chicago Street Brawl, which was stupid as hell. Because they brawled, like the match ended because they brawled into a car and drove off.
I think last year was also Seth Rollins versus Randy Orton.
That was the other thing. That was the other thing I was going to bring up. That was also stupid as all.
Yeah, that was a garbage pay-per-view. Payback was good though.
Mm-hmm.
Payback last year was great.
Yes, we actually watched that before Extreme Rules, or watched the main event for that, I should say. Anyways, Extreme Rules 2016 pre-show. We get a quick promo from the Dudley Boys because it is New Jersey. They're boys of the land. They drop an ECW reference because they are boys of the ECW land. It's a pretty fun heel promo, and then Big Cass comes out. He's not the greatest on the stick. It's Enzo's job. Enzo's sadly still out right now. As of today, air quotes, Enzo has come back to Raw.
Yeah.
So it's good to see him back again.
And immediately everything's great again.
Oh god, it's beautiful.
Because that
beautiful.
promo he cut is so fucking silly, and I can't get enough of it.
It's laugh out loud enjoyable. Anyways, Cass not the greatest on the stick, but he has insane charisma built in, so he does more than enough.
Right.
He comes out and he squashes the shit out of the Dudleys again, hitting his spinning side slam East River Crossing to get the win. Quick old squash match. I think he did it on Raw as well before this. And on Raw after this, he does it again, this time ending it with the Empire Elbow. So his two signatures have become two finishing moves because Vince really likes this guy.
Wait, did he have a match on Extreme Rules?
It was the pre-show.
I thought it was just,
I don't even know if it was a match.
I thought it was a beatdown.
It might have been a beatdown, it might have been a match, I'm not sure. He had a match on Raw beforehand.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of, they're all blending together because it's all 2-minute segments where Bubba gets shit kicked out of him. And we kind of discussed this a little bit when watching today's Raw, or even beforehand. Vince really likes Big Cass. That's what the dirt sheets say, and you can kind of see it in the way he's being booked.
Right.
And it's almost scary.
Almost. But, you know that as long as he likes Cass, that team should be pretty well represented.
Yes. As long as the machine doesn't become a kiss of death, it's really good to know that Enzo and Cass are over as all get out, that Vince likes them, and they'll probably have a ton of merch to buy, which would be totally amazing in my book.
Can't wait for those poo emoji pants.
Oh, yeah. Also on the pre-show, we have... never. Screw this match. The best part of the pre-show is the Social Media Lounge, hosted by NXT commentator Tom Phillips, featuring Rusev and Lana. with the Twitter Q&A session. Holy shit, do they knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
It was gut-bustingly funny.
First question. No, let's start with third question.
Let's start with third question. They're tearing it up on the social media lounge, like, just ducking in and out of these questions, just like, almost like super comedy role, completely not even caring about it. One of the questions, someone timed was like, "What's machka mean?" Like, it's crush in Russian. Have you never used the internet to look up something?
Surprising we didn't see Rusev today on Raw. Actually.
Yeah, we didn't. He's probably gonna have another Money in the Bank qualifier match. I don't know.
Potentially, like maybe next episode of Raw. I know on SmackDown.
He has the rematch clause. It's
right.
We're skipping ahead of ourselves because that gives away who wins. But
I mean,
I know.
I'm sure they wouldn't be
exactly
if they didn't see the pay-per-view.
But as we're skipping ahead, I think one of my favorite parts of the social media lounge bit is towards the end of it. Rusev and Lana are still sitting next to each other in like chairs, like little director chairs kind of thing. Right. And Rusev goes to like grab Lana's hand, and she just like she pulls away and goes no, and just shakes her head. Like it's kind of understated, but not understated enough where you wouldn't miss it.
The thing is, like, that was when Tom was talking. So
yeah.
Normally, when someone's talking on screen, you're usually looking at them. So you totally wouldn't notice it if you weren't paying attention.
Yeah, it was beautiful. They were just aces on this segment.
I want to know the story behind that now.
Oh my gosh, it was freaking
like, what's the deal with that?
It's so fucking great.
Because, I mean, Lana's still dressed like she's dating Dolph Ziggler. So
a little bit, yeah. Onto the actual pre-show match. Baron Corbin versus Dolph Ziggler, no disqualification match. This has been your pre-show feud since Mania.
Has it? What, was this on the pre-show?
Yep.
Like, I know.
This was on the pre-show for Payback.
Was it?
I am
Did we have two matches on the pre-show at Payback?
Yes, because it was Ryback and Kalisto and Corbin and Ziggler.
I guess I don't remember because Ryback was the pre-show stopper.
He did a goddamn good job of stopping the pre-show.
That was a way better match than it had any right.
That was a good match to leave on.
Yeah.
So this is Baron Ziggler 3 at this point, and I'm like, holy crap! Corbin needs to go over because what right do you have to give Ziggler this crappy ass feud win when at least you've decided to maybe put an iota of effort into Corbin, giving him the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale trophy, even though it means absolutely piss nothing.
Yeah.
It means you maybe have an iota of interest in him.
I mean, he's already almost tied for accolades with Dean Ambrose.
You're not wrong. So, it's a strong start from Corbin. Good spot with him tying Ziggler up in the ropes and laying it into him. Really good heel shit. Ziggler gets his turn to offense with a great reversal sunset flip. Corbin hits deep 6. It's a fine enough match for a pre-show. And then Corbin low blows Ziggler because it's no DQ and hits end of days for the win. The one thing Luna was really remarking during this match was that the only time the no disqualification stipulation came into play was the low blow itself. Other than that, it was
basically making it a dirty win. But what kind of makes that right is that they referenced that on Raw and kind of brought that up.
Yeah.
So, like, that was purely intentional.
It was actually, it didn't ruin the match by any means. It wasn't something that made the match worse, I'd say. But when you think about it in that context, you're like, yeah, the only DQ thing they did was a low blow. Like, you could have thrown in a chair. You know, someone gets hit in the back of the chair.
I guess, like, another thing to keep in mind, too, is that this is the pre-show.
It is.
And, like, if we got too much toys used, it would kind of downplay the rest of the show. Because, like, we got a lot of fucking hardcore gimmick matches. So, you know, kind of fucking throwing up too much before we even get to the actual show might have kind of taken away the impact of seeing them.
It's very true. It's kind of just nitpicky as all crap to be complaining about like this, but they did the right thing, and they had a backstage interview segment with Corbin and Ziggler where they reference the fact that he's like, you know what, it wasn't a technical match. You didn't beat me, you low me. He goes, yeah, because I could. Like, I won, idiot. So
that's Jericho's thing.
You stupid idiot!
You stupid
idiot!
Fucking hype.
You're a stupid man!
Way he says that.
I love it. Jericho's having a great heel run. Anyways, Corbin wins. They're setting up for something more with that feud, so I guess we're gonna continue watching it. But here, hopes Corbin continues to win.
I mean, right now they don't have anything planned for him, so like all he's doing is like you would think the natural progression here was to maybe put a mid-card belt on him.
Yeah.
You know what? This is like kind of just out of left field, just me like coming up with stupid shit off the top of my head. And I hate when they do this, but every once in a while I think it's fine. Maybe have those two be so like, you know, because Corbin's a shithead. He doesn't even like wrestling. He basically said that on Raw.
Yeah. Corbin had a great line where he said he was really good at beating people up, and then someone told him, if you're good at something, don't do it for free.
Right.
And I was like, wow, it's
like,
great.
He was
great
like,
line.
He was like, unlike you, I wasn't dreaming as a little kid to become a technical wrestler and shit. What I would kind of like to see is fucking to get those two, because if they're gonna draw out this fucking angle because they got nothing better to do with each guy, you might as well like fucking have them be super competitive with each other, like Corbin just be like doing everything easily because he's just a fucking big piece of shit, and then Ziggler working his ass off to try and one up Corbin and shit like that, and eventually leading up to them maybe winning the tag team titles together.
Oh my gosh, that's cheeky as shit.
I know, but like we haven't seen something like that in a while. I feel so.
Yeah.
You know, I guess as long as they don't beat New Day for it, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, someone good's gonna have to take it off the New Day, and you know.
If anyone's gonna take it off at New Day, it's gotta be on someone Cass.
A face team?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I guess it's better than seeing a heel team be shitty. I mean,
yeah.
Maybe.
I can't think of. I'd rather have the super over face team take it, so you don't lose the overness of the tag belts, because then having like whatever heel team that has 1 ounce of heat associated with them take it, and then pretty much just hot potato it Enzo and Cass afterwards.
Yeah. Or you could just have it be like some kind of multi-team match where they win it.
Yeah.
Instead of needing to like have it be face versus face.
Mm-hmm. So I think from the desks of Dave Meltzer,
Breaking news.
Not even breaking news. I think they announced this a couple weeks ago. The reason I think they're probably doing this is because they have said that they have no plans for Corbin, and that they also have pretty much no plans for Apollo.
Yeah.
Apollo's finally getting attached to something thanks to this episode of Raw. He's going to have a match with Sheamus, it looks like. But they haven't really had much to do with these guys since they brought him up. And by much, I mean absolutely just freaking nothing.
Yep.
So here's hoping.
Like, you could tell that they weren't thinking about these call-ups. Like,
No, they really weren't.
I think it would have been better like if Corbin won the Battle Royal at WrestleMania and then continued to be on NXT while fucking shoving it in the face of people that he won something.
I would have liked it if they called up Corbin or Apollo, but not both of them, because you can tell that there's just nothing going on with either of them now.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They're doing nothing with both of them. So, like, both of them were useless call-ups at this point.
Yeah. So, we move on to Extreme Rules 2016 proper. As our curtain jerker for the evening is the Usos versus the Club in a tornado tag match.
Which was great. Like, I just a standard tornado tag team match. I don't know if there's been one in like 10 years. Like, without some kind of additional gimmick, like a ladder match type deal. You know what I mean? Because a ladder match, it's obvious it's going to be tornado. There's not going to be tags. But just a straight up, hey, this is a tag team match, but both you guys are legal at all times. And I don't even know if I would know what that stipulation would even be if it wasn't for fucking the video games. Because I have not personally seen one.
I've heard of them, and I've never. This was the first one I've seen.
Yeah. So they don't use that stipulation very often,
Mm-hmm.
and it's mainly because like tag team matches are booked and worked like a really particular way.
Yes.
So the tornado dynamic kind of makes it a fatal 4-way, except you're not attacking one of the guys.
It's Smash Brothers, but your team battle.
Yeah.
So the thing for this match is that the club has to win, because if they somehow lose to the Usos in this match, they hit like officially buried mode. They've been kind of they debuted and they kind of were run to shit by having the same match with the Usos time in and time out over Raw, and generally just looking like a pile of garbage. Quickly to the outside of this match, the club hit a fireman's carry hold for a kick. Gallus has got him in a fireman's carry hold. Anderson runs off the apron to kick him in the head. And to sell this, Gallus just throws the Uso into the barricade.
But you don't know that move's named?
No.
That's the Boot of Doom.
No, I thought the Boot of Doom is when they're in the ring.
No, that was the Boot of Doom.
It was?
Yeah.
Okay, because I know what it looks like in the rings. Usually Anderson's flying a little higher, but this is the height difference and caught me off guard. Yeah. And they didn't even announce it at the commentary.
I know, I guess he was afraid of calling it the Magic Killer.
The Blue Thunder Boot.
The Blue Thunder Boot. The Blue Thunder Boot.
The Blue Thunder Boot. Yeah, I've seen the Boot of Doom. I didn't realize it was a fireman's carry that starts that off.
Yeah, it was.
Was there any good spot? It was kind of hard to denote all the action going on because it is a tornado tag.
I guess another reason why you might not have noticed it was a Boot of Doom was because normally the Boot of Doom ends with that fireman's carry into a flapjack.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, that would require Gallows to fall back, but he didn't on the outside, because why the fuck would you want to do that on the outside if you had a choice? Plus, it made it look really sick when he got thrown into the barricade on top of it.
He got railed into the barricade.
Yeah.
There was some serious impact for it. Yeah, let's just skip to the finish, because that's where the good stuff lies. So, it was really hard to denote the action within the tag matches. There's not a whole lot I can write on during the entire time. Gallows goes to get the ring bell and takes it into the ring, but he's super kicking, drops it on the mat. Jimmy Uso goes to capitalize on the super kick by doing a top rope splash, but Gallows rolls out of the way, and Jimmy bonks himself on the ring bell in the mat.
He rings his bell.
He rings his bell.
He rings his bell?
He rings his... Yeah, Cole said that, by the way.
He didn't. Until it was much too late.
He said it literally 2 hours later.
Yeah, in a match that... And plus, I believe it was JBL. No, it was Cole.
I think it was Cole.
Yeah, Cole made... Oh, he got his bell rung. And it was like, Cole, come on.
Cole, that was the first match of the night. Anyways, after Jimmy conks himself, Club hits the Magic Killer and win the match. Fine enough match. Great to see the stipulation. Great to see that the Club are permanently buried.
Yep. And now that they're their own thing for now, you would think that they're going to go for maybe the belts at some point.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the best possible option, because New Day is a face tag team. You want to establish the Club as being a dominant force.
Do they?
You want to salvage that shitty fucking booking that they've had to deal with.
Yeah.
So,
hot shot them the tag belts pretty much.
Yeah, hot shotting can be good if it's on the right person or the right team. And I think it'd be good for them because they were brought in supposedly as these two monsters, and then they're not even undefeated.
They lost to mirror images of a Samoan.
Yeah, it's been barely over a month, and they're not undefeated. That's retarded.
Their booking was unbelievably bad.
Yeah.
Unbelievably bad.
For a monster tag team.
Yeah, it's just absolute garbage. Disappointment across the board on those ones. Their theme's not even that great.
Yeah, it's not exactly memorable.
No, I can't even remember how it goes.
In fairness, I guess I know I haven't heard it that often because like I don't really watch episodes of Raw that much, so I've only ever heard it at pay-per-view.
Yeah, I've heard
and they've been at one pay-per-view.
2 now?
Has it been 2? Were they actually on? Yeah, they have.
Yeah, they have.
Did they have a match though?
No, but I think they're music match.
I don't think their music even played.
I've watched.
That's
Raw.
my excuse at least.
Yeah.
I don't watch Raw that often.
No, I watch Raw. I'm the sucker that watches Raw.
Hey, you have a decent stream that you can watch.
Exactly. Next up on the card, we have Kalisto versus Rusev. Kalisto defending his United States Championship versus Rusev, who is on fire after delivering the great social media lounge segments. Sorry. I missed this on Raw, unless maybe it happened on SmackDown. I couldn't tell you because I missed this. Rusev and Kalisto somehow got into it somewhere along the lines, and Rusev slapped Kalisto in a accolade and then kind of like reared back and like almost threw him out of it. And Kalisto is selling a back injury from that.
I'm pretty sure that was on Raw. Because like I don't watch Raw, but I do watch the YouTube clips that they put up, and I'm pretty sure I remember that happening.
Okay, I missed it completely. I missed a fair amount of the last couple of Raws. So he's selling like hell for his back on this one. Round starts. Kalisto does the springboard corkscrew, and Rusev just double axe handles him out of it.
Yeah.
He's just like, get out of here. Knock him out. Rusev slaps on an extended bear hug, followed by an Argentinian backbreaker.
Yep. Good old torture rack.
Yeah, it was. They're really going for the back story here,
which is good.
Which is exactly the story they need to be telling. It's Rusev. Hey, remember when this guy was a monster heel?
Yeah.
I'm going to injure this dude. I'm going to get in the ring with him. I'm just going to destroy him even more, targeting his weakness. It's quick and efficient. Kalisto does get a really good moment of offense in the middle of this match. He does, he reverses the backbreaker into a rear naked choke. Rusev backdrops him off of him, which looked like it actually hurt like a son of a bitch.
Yeah, like fucking, and not as much because of the bump, but because like he had his legs wrapped around Rusev.
Yeah.
So all of his weight coming down, basically probably forcing those legs apart. Like
it's gonna hurt his pelvis like a son of a bitch.
Pelvis, like you fucking just your groin and shit. Groin, fucking like Rusev is a wide ass dude.
He's a refrigerator.
He's a wide ass dude, and Kalisto's not the biggest dude.
That dude is horizontal.
Like I wouldn't even be comfortable with Rob Van Dam taking that fucking, and he does splits all the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I guess he was fine.
Yeah, Kalisto goes on the offense. He gets tornado DDT, springboard corkscrew, spike head scissor. There was even more in there, but those were like the big things.
Yeah.
And then he starts. God, this was great. He starts to try the Lucha chant, and no one caught on.
Yeah.
He completely failed getting the Lucha chant going.
The Lucha chant is pretty garbage.
Yeah, it's kind of fun, but
I don't think so at all.
I think it's like inoffensive.
Like, I mean, I don't know. I guess. Like, it's just like, hey, look, I'm a luchador. I get it. Do flips. Stop doing what you're doing right now. Like, what the fuck? I think it mainly just reminds people he's in a tag team, and it's like we don't.
That's the thing. It calls back to the tag team more than anything else.
Yeah.
That much I do agree with you on.
And plus, his music is shitty. Fucking damn it! The chant is in his music.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
That is true.
Stop it.
He's kind of doomed to that chant no matter what, because the music's there now. Hopefully, I mean, the reason he was in the singles run was because Sin Cara was injured. If after he loses the belt, do they go back to being a tag team, or does Kalisto maintain his singles run? If he maintains his singles run, give him some new damn music.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with the tag team continuing.
Me too.
As long as like they're doing stuff with it, I guess. Because like Lucha Dragons make the perfect extra team in like multi-team matches.
Exactly.
You know, like, and you know, you could go one-on-one as far as teams go too with those guys. It's just like Sin Cara is already, you know, an afterthought. He's not really, you know, he's definitely the Jannetty, you know. So it feels like he doesn't really need anything extra. He could definitely be an extra man, and that'd be perfectly fine.
It does, and it's not even that like, because they were doing this in NXT. It's not like Kalisto needs Sin Cara to help be enhancement talents.
Right.
So there's really nothing stopping them from keeping this as a Kalisto singles push.
Yeah.
And then them just kind of being friends. And you know what? This isn't working out. We can still be friends.
Yeah.
I'm dropping shit.
But I guess the question is, like, what do you do?
I don't know.
Or with him, Kalisto, you know?
I actually don't know where Kalisto goes from here.
Right.
That's sad facts of life. Kalisto gets on the top turnbuckle after Rusev chucks him off of it. And we go into a extended medical check spots where Kalisto is like, holy shit, my back's falling to pieces. Rusev's kind of like, okay, I broke this dude's back. Can I get in here and like rough him up a little more? Can I like finish the smash? And the ref keeps pushing him off. It's like, no, dude, hold up. And he's like getting frustrated. So Rusev just runs in there. He's like, screw this ref. Grabs him by the leg, pulls him back to the middle of the mat, stomps on his back a few times, slaps in the Accolade. And normally the Accolade, he's kind of still elevated, sitting down on him. Rusev slaps in and then rolls on his back. And he goes for like that hyperextension look. Really, really grimy looking, great, just brutal heel, monster look to it. Kalisto taps out in like 3 seconds. Yeah. He's done.
It was one of those tap out moments where you're like, yeah.
Yeah. You have to tap me.
Like I'm fine. Like normally when a babyface taps out, it's like, ugh. But in this situation, it's like, yeah, you kind of fucking.
You're selling a back injury the entire match. You're getting slapped.
And then the Accolade looks like a complete fucking ridiculous version. So it's totally cool.
Yeah, it's the EX version of the Accolade. So It's like tap out immediately, sell the shit out of this thing. So Rusev's got the belt now. We didn't see him on Raw today, so we'll find out what goes on next week.
Well, I mean, I'm sure he's gonna win his rematch against Kalisto on SmackDown. I'm sure if he's on Raw next week, we'll see clips of that. So
exactly. All right. Moving on, we have The New Day versus Vaudevillains for tag action. New Day come out and cut a promo. How many times have I said that? Literally every episode, I'm pretty sure.
Every episode since they've been The New Day.
Yeah, pretty much every
real New Day.
The real New Day. Xavier straight up pimps his Twitter account and lets Big E to let him shoot his shots. The crowd takes the phrase and goes, wow, shoot his shot. Big E came out with 2 garden hose.
Yeah, we knew where it was going.
And we knew where that joke was going, too, because they were in New Jersey, Brunswick, New Jersey? Or the Garden City or something like that, or the Garden State or something. I don't know crap out of their states.
I don't know Jersey.
I don't know.
All I know is that Jersey don't like me.
I don't know.
That's all I know about
I don't know
Jersey.
nothing about nothing like that.
But I like Jersey.
But there's a Garden State reference. He's like, Garden State, we're going to bury these hoes. New Day Rock. They're killing it. Yeah. They're just freaking killing it. Like, every night they're freaking killing it.
Killing it button, press that shit.
Yeah, it's... they're if they're not the most over thing on the product, they're damn near close to it.
Yeah.
Tonight is actually Xavier and Big E wrestling.
Which was different.
I don't know if Kofi's nursing an injury, or if they just let Xavier wrestle.
I mean, like, Xavier almost never gets to wrestle.
Yeah.
It's like, they're like trying to say that they're using the fucking Freebird rule and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But realistically, like, the only time Xavier's been in championship matches has been when all 3 of them were in.
Yeah,
like,
it's
when it was gimmicked like that.
Really, really just Kofi and Big E for like 90% of matches. So if there's no injury on Kofi or anything, and they're just like, hey Xavier, get in there and wrestle, that's great.
I mean, I guess he's not injured. We saw him on Raw today.
Yeah, that's right.
He did some good shit.
He did. Commentary bills Aiden English as 6'4", which is
he's a lanky 6'4".
He's a lanky 6'4". This is true, but it's either an accurate billing or maybe even possibly a slight underbilling. Because we saw Aiden English stand next to Big Cass, and he's not that far off from Big Cass. Obviously, Big Cass isn't actually 7 foot. He's just really freaking tall. He's probably like 6'8" or something.
Yeah, he's up there.
So Aiden's probably 6'4", 6'5". Xavier starts off being the babyface in peril. Big E gets a hot tag, but the Vaudevillains retain control, dumping New Day to the outside. Vaudevillains hit Whirling Dervish, but Xavier gets to kick out. And this is probably due, in fact, for them setting up what they did on Raw with the Time Machine promo being their new finishing move, which I can't even remember what it was, but they had like an actual tag team finishing looking move.
Yeah.
So they're just burying.
Well, I remember what it was.
What was it?
I believe it used to be used by, I want to say Triple X back in TNA. It's a suplex setup.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got the guys standing, one guy's in front of the other. The guy who's in front does a suplex, but has him rest on the guy behind. So he's in a powerbomb setup.
Yeah.
So the guy behind does a sit-out powerbomb as the other guy in front falls back for a neck breaker.
Okay, yeah. It was something like that. It looks good as a finishing tag finisher, which is good because you were remarking how the Whirling Dervish is basically a singles finisher.
Yeah.
Kofi does an interference when the ref isn't looking, and Xavier hits a running leg drop on a seated opponent, which is, I guess, is his finisher.
I guess it was called a Shining Wizard.
Okay.
Which I know what it is, but like when he did it last night, it didn't look like one to me.
When he did it last night, it looked like he just hit a running knee.
Did it?
It honestly just looked like, because here's the thing. It was, this follow train of thought, it was camera person, Gotch, Xavier, in reference of closest to Forrest.
Yeah.
So when Xavier hit whatever he hit on Gotch was kind of in the way of the camera. So I didn't see everything, but it looked like he just ran by it with it.
Yeah, I didn't see him step up, and I thought Gotch was seated instead of like kneeling, which is normally when a Shining Wizard.
Yeah, Gotch was seated.
So like, and it didn't look like a knee. It looked like a leg drop. Like you hit him with the inside of the leg.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, I guess it could be a Shining Wizard. Either way, I don't think Xavier's had a finishing move since he's been in WWE.
Yeah. Well, so I think they had him use a discus clothesline or a monkey. No, the monkey flip.
A monkey flip?
He does like a monkey flip, like jumping punch. You know where he front somersaults into a jumping punch?
No.
I think he used that once. It was totally dumb. Not to say that this finisher is any better.
Well, I mean, I do think it's a lot better because, I mean, if it is a traditional Shining Wizard, then that's great because those moves are great. But even if it's not, even if it is just like a Rough Rider with the guy sitting down, like that's still pretty nice because we don't really see shit like that.
Yeah, I'd like to see him do it in a different match because I didn't like a Rough Rider. He kind of like goes with him. It honestly looked like he just ran by him with me.
Well, I mean, so. I didn't mind it. I was glad they gave him a singles finisher regardless.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to hear a name for it.
I'd like to see it a second time.
Like the Knee Day.
Oh, gosh. The match was actually pretty quick. I know there weren't like a ton of spots I rifled off, but it was honestly a pretty quick match. Nothing.
It was an alright match.
Yeah, nothing special, but I mean, totally fine match.
The thing of note is that New Day won it dirty.
They did win it dirty because Kofi had a ref. The ref was pulled away, and Kofi hit like a enziguri or something.
No, he hit Trouble in Paradise.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's his finisher. So.
Because I thought he hit him from the outside. He didn't step in the ring or anything.
No, he didn't step. He still did the Trouble in Paradise though.
Oh, okay.
He just did it from the outside. While he was hung up on the rope.
Okay, it was a far corner, so all I saw was the kick part. I didn't see the spinning jump for Trouble in Paradise.
But I guess like you would say like the face team won dirty, but at the same time, like Eddie Guerrero made a whole career off of that, and that's the kind of team that New Day are.
Yeah,
they're not really the hustle, loyalty, respect kind of baby faces.
No, and my friend brought it up. It's like Hulk Hogan rinked eyes, dude.
Well, yeah, but he also spent a lot of time as a heel too.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, I mean, it was like baby face days.
Did he though?
Yeah, that's what he was saying.
Did he though?
Yeah.
Or is he just seeing NWO Hollywood Hulk Hogan and just remembering him as a babyface, even though he wasn't?
I have no idea.
Because a lot of people still loved Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
I watched a bunch of the OSW reviews of the Hulkamania era. I swear I've seen him do a rig before.
Yeah. I mean, he might have.
Yeah.
But Hulk Hogan's just a shitty guy, so...
Yeah, he could have just been a shitter. Who knows? Who knows?
I'm pretty sure he wants to fuck his daughter more than I do.
Damn.
And I would love to fuck Brooke Hogan.
Damn.
Give me some of that money. I'll be your touring. I'll be your touring guitars, baby girl. I'll play 4 chords. That's all I need. 4 chords.
Is she in music now, or
she's been doing?
That's right. She is in music.
She's just bad.
Well, yeah.
No, I didn't say that. Brooke, hire me. I want to play your shitty music.
Yeah, I'm sure out of the 3 people that
maybe peg you for a while.
I'm sure out of the 3 people that listen to this podcast, she is one of them.
Wouldn't that be amazing though? Like, what if we just had one random celebrity listener and that was it?
Yeah. What's this podcast with 2 views on YouTube? Check it out. Good Lord Almighty. Anyways, up next is probably match of the night. Or at least one of the matches I was the most excited for.
Yeah.
Fatal 4-way match for the IC belt featuring Miz as the champion, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Cesaro, who doesn't get a first name.
One thing to note is that both matches of the night tonight had people win that no one likes.
Yep. Other thing to note, as noted by the first thing in my notes, is that Luna likes men.
And for context, basically, Brian was remarking on how the theme song of Extreme Rules was garbage, which, I mean, I agreed with, but I also said that it's the same shit he always listens to. Like, it's just, it literally is. And he's like, no, it's completely different. I'm like, no, it's not. This is just Paramore. It really is.
It really is.
And he's like, no, it's completely, like, fucking, she's hot, and this chick's, like, gross. And he showed me a picture of both of them, like, dude, it's the same person. It's the same fucking person.
I mean, one's got red hair.
They both apparently have red hair.
What if there's no picture of her? I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
Care.
It's the same garbage. And then, like,
I actually like the band is called Paris. The song is called I don't remember.
Right, which is probably the name.
Yeah. It's like,
but then in response to that, Brian said, "Well, you like men."
You like men. So
I'm like, well, I forget how I responded to it, but I did in my same snarky manner.
I didn't have time to butt in, but he's like, "It's not like Paramore. Like, this is garbage. It's not like Paramore." And I just want to be like, "Well, Paramore's garbage too, bro." I've heard like,
yeah, Brian's taste in music is whatever's popular, and I'm surprised because this was popular. So.
Is it? I've never heard of this record.
I mean, me neither.
The song was actually kind of good, but we both agreed that this is not the song you need for Extreme Rules.
Right. You need fucking get fucking Disturbed on the phone. They have a newer album out. Like fucking
get something chuggy.
Get something chuggy. Get Breaking Benjamin in there. They're not the most metal band either, but they do have riffs.
Get the guy that did Street Fighter V main theme.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, it is.
It's really good.
The first time I heard it, I was like, "This is it."
Yeah, no. The first time I'm like, oh, what's this? Because it starts off with like the really like thin whiskey guitars.
Yeah, the acoustic.
I'm like, oh, this is kind of like
jangling away,
kind of jangly, weird, and then all of a sudden like it builds up. Sweet picking. I'm like, whoa, chuggy.
It was sick.
Give me the chuggy.
But then for Extreme Rules, they have a female pop singer with a band that's decidedly not metal. Playing.
Decidedly maybe sharper than a butter knife, but can't cut steak.
Right. Yeah. Like a plastic butter knife. it has the grooves.
Yeah, it's serrated.
It's serrated. It's got a serrated edge, but you can still snap it.
Yeah, actually.
You can cut strawberries with it. It makes my job easier.
It's very, very accurate.
Because I don't have to wear a cutting glove for it.
It's very accurate to how much edge this song had.
Anyway. I mean, and it's not to say that I thought the song was bad, but the whole time, just like, before Brian got there, every time I heard the song, I was like, this is that shit that Brian likes.
That shit that Brian brings in the household.
And then he comes over, he's like, yeah, this song's awful. And then I was like, I couldn't sit there and agree with him because I was so dumbfounded by how he could think it's any different than what he listens to. I was like, we couldn't even agree to agree.
Maybe.
Like, even when me and him agree on something, we're arguing about it. That's the best part about it.
You're so fucking right. You couldn't even agree to agree. Holy shit, you're right, man.
He's like, I hate this. And I'm like, no, you loved it.
No, you loved it. Anyways, moving on. Fatal 4-way for the IC belt. So all 4 men start in 4 corners, and then the bell rings, and Sami Zayn books across the ring and hits the halupa kick on Kevin Owens.
He started the round with full meter.
He started the round. Gold bursted out of nowhere. Someone got hit by it apparently. Runs up IK on Kevin Owens. He just kicks him, and Kevin rolls to the outside.
Yeah.
And it's obviously like, okay, we're going to pare this down a little spot, but for God, what a way to start it.
Yeah.
He just bolts like a demon across the ring and kicks the shit out of him.
Cesaro does the same thing by running in with his uppercut onto the Miz.
He does the same thing. He runs the other side, hits the Miz, dumps him to the outside. This one I actually have a lot of detailed notes for.
I bet you do.
Because this was an amazing match.
I can't believe you wrote notes. You should have been fucking on the edge of your seat.
I assure you I was doing both. Outside of
I'm surprised you can't recite this match by memory.
God, this match was so good. So Cesaro dumps Miz out to the outside, leaving Cesaro and Sami to combat each other. Sami dumps Cesaro outside as Miz re-enters. Both get dumped again, and Sami hits his suicide dive to take them both out. The camera pans out to let you know that Owens is still selling on the outside.
Which is good.
He took a finish. He took it, exactly. He looks like he's just groggy as shit on the outside, and he's a barricade like, I have no idea what's going on.
Unlike Roman Reigns, who would have taken an arm drag, and he would have been out of the match for fucking 15 minutes.
Yeah, he would have fallen asleep taking a nap. Like, it's understandable that Owens is out there dead because he took a finisher.
Yeah.
Oh, God. It makes so perfect sense.
It's almost as if the road agent was actually good at his job this time.
Yeah, I know, right? Camera pans letting Owens. Yeah, so Owens outside selling. Miz and Sami brawl on top of the turnbuckle. Cesaro enters for a Tower of Doom tease, but Kevin then re-enters and clears the ring to beat down Sami. Sami goes for the top rope, but the spot is stopped. He goes for his top rope. Grabs it by the hand, jumps in the ropes.
Oh, the new school, I call it.
Yeah.
Because Undertaker did the old school.
Yeah.
So Sami Zayn does the new school.
That was it. He's stopped. Owen takes the turnbuckle as Sami and Zayn try to work him off of it. Cesaro runs in to then deliver the tease Tower of Doom spots. Sami hits the traditional Blue Thunder Bomb, but Miz kicks him afterwards and tries to steal the pinfall. Miz goes for okay, this was a little bit hard to understand because I didn't catch all of this. Miz goes for an exploder suplex on Sami, but Cesaro runs in and suplexes both of them. I think that's how it went.
Yeah, so like as Miz was being held in the exploder T-bone.
Was Miz the one being held in the exploder?
Yeah, because Sami actually does that move.
That's what I was thinking. I originally thought it was Sami, but I thought I remember seeing Sami's leg lifted up as if he was in an exploder T-bone.
Well, fucking so.
And I'm like, why the fuck is Miz doing an exploder? That's Sami's move.
I mean, a lot of shit happened.
Yeah, but regardless, there was a suplex. There was a exploder suplex happening, and Cesaro just grabbed the dude who was doing the suplex and was like, "No, we're taking both y'all both."
Yep.
And God, fucking amazing. Using this advantage, he starts the uppercut train and does a solid 30 seconds of running around, uppercutting each man in the three corners. He sets up for the giant swing, but Owens German suplexes him out of it and starts cannonballing all of them now in the three corners.
There's a nice little part 2 to that
It's
segment.
really, really great storytelling, like how it mirrors what's going on. The match hits the intensity as Sammy hits Owens with the half Nelson suplex. Once again, we can't get a good shot at it, so we can't tell if it's the chicken wing suplex you were talking about.
Yeah.
Cesaro hits Sammy with the pop-up uppercut, and then Miz hits Cesaro with a skull-crushing finale.
The Swiss Death.
The Swiss Death?
Yeah.
Is that actually what it's called?
That's what he called it before WWE, because obviously they're not going to call it the Swiss
Death. Okay, I just call it a pop-up.
The video games call it the very European uppercut.
Oh, that's right. You were telling me about that.
That was last episode.
The very European uppercut. So Cesaro eats skull crushing finale, but kicks out of it because he's like, God damn it, I'm way too good for this.
Right, which is good because I feel like even though he ended up taking the pin, spoilers.
Yeah.
He was kept really strong.
He was kept real strong in this match. Cesaro was unbelievably strong in this match. Miz beats up on Cesaro, who then returns the favor with a springboard uppercut. Miz sells this with a backdrop where he rolls back on his neck, like legs over him, sells it like absolute death. Then he uses this opportunity to hit Miz with the giant swing, ending in the sharpshooter. Maurice tries to help Miz out of the sharpshooter, but distracts the ref as Miz is tapping, which is another part of Cesaro being kept strong. Technically, Miz is tapping, but the ref's not there to see it. Cesaro tries to grapple Miz again, but Owens does a splash to take Miz out and break up the hold. Cesaro hits the neutralizer on Owens, but Sammy intervenes. Sammy hits the single most beautiful sunset flip I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was an art masterpiece, how fluid this sunset flip was.
See, pretty much everybody who listens to this is going to know what you're talking about because this is not the first time he's done it.
No, I've seen him do it before too.
Yeah, the second I saw him get ready to do it, I'm like, oh, this is it. Because like he likes to do it with Cesaro a lot.
Mhm.
Cesaro fucking does it perfectly. But I think he's done it with Owens.
I've seen him do it with Owens before. I want to say I've seen him do it with Neville.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great fucking move.
I know he does it. Thing of note, the one signature Sammy move that wasn't in this match was the jump through the turnbuckle ropes tornado DT on the outside.
Yeah.
That was the one Sammy move that was missing. But that's fine because this match was balls to the wall amazing.
Right.
Anyways, beautiful sunset flip. Sammy sets up the hula kick, and Cesaro uppercuts the living shit out of him for trying it. Sammy tries again, and then Owens runs in and super kicks the shit out of him for trying it. Both of these looked very hard.
Yeah.
Miz intervenes and tries to get the pin on Cesaro, but with no avail. Sammy hits the hula kick out of nowhere on Owens. Oh, he hits the hula kick, but Owens pulls him out for the pin. Sammy goes nuclear, runs to the outside, and starts beating the tar out of Owens, which allows Miz to sneak back into the ring again and pin Cesaro, because fuck you.
Right.
A fantastic match, and really, really, really the wrong person won.
Yeah.
Because
like from here, where do you go?
I understand at times why WWE, or actually I don't, but I understand why they do it. But it doesn't make any sense. They'll extend a feud, even though you really feel like there should be a payoff coming down the line. Like, maybe it's because they have nothing better lined up for the people at the time.
Right.
Case in point, we already talked about Corbin and Ziggler.
Yeah.
This felt completely wrong because this was a barn burner of a match.
Yeah.
This was
and like
start to finish a match that you were on the edge of your seat for. All the action was beautiful. You're on fire the entire time. It is
probably a match of the year candidate.
Yeah.
At this point, like it's still kind of early in the year. Well, I mean we're almost halfway through the year. So.
Yeah.
But it's a question mark because he's got a rematch against Cesaro on SmackDown, this coming SmackDown.
Yep.
Which might already pass by the time this episode comes up.
I should have it up before Thursday, because I'm leaving Thursday for Comic Burger.
So if he wins that match, cool, but why didn't he win it at Extreme Rules?
Exactly.
If he loses that match, he's in the Money in the Bank match. Literally every one of the contenders for the title at Extreme Rules are in the Money in the Bank match, except for Miz.
Mm-hmm.
So who's going to challenge him for the title? And is it going to be someone we're going to want to see get beaten by the Miz? Like, who are you going to put that title on?
Yeah, Cesaro's going to lose at SmackDown for purely fuckery reasons because of Maurice. I mean, I can't see them doing anything other than that. But this was the match to put the belt on Cesaro. He was like everyone in this match, obviously outside of the Miz, performed out of their minds.
I mean, the Miz was good in the match too.
He was good for where the Miz was in the ring.
Yeah, but it's the Miz.
Yeah,
and I don't give a fuck about the Miz.
I give more of a fuck about the Miz than you do.
And you agree.
Yeah, and I agree. He's just not. I mean, what's he supposed to do in the ring when you have Owen, Sami Zayn, and Cesaro in there?
Right.
But Cesaro was just booked like hero of the world in this match, and it should have ended with him. It should have ended with him putting the neutralizer on Miz and taking the belt,
and then fucking his wife right in front of him while he watches.
take the lunch needed to, boy.
Right.
So it's really, really disappointing to see the Miz hold it because it felt like the Miz only had the IC belt so that he could transition it off to a face, and now we're extending that feud out, and it's really confusing because Money in the Bank's coming up, and the IC race that was so interesting and such a huge part of Raw and had this great payoff doesn't have a payoff now.
And it's pretty much just the Money in the Bank match now.
Yeah.
Because, again, three out of those four guys, the three guys that didn't win, are now in the Money in the Bank match. So the Miz is left to do question mark.
Yeah,
I mean, granted, we got 3 more episodes of Raw. I think 3.
Yeah.
To build something, so it's still early, and they've fucking, announced a match a week before Raw for something like that. So,
And you were bringing up that Cena's returning and that the IC belt is the only thing he hasn't won.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'd be fine with that. Like, people are scared of him taking it off of Rusev as soon as he comes back. But it's like, we want the belt on Rusev, but we don't want the belt on Miz.
Yeah.
So, if anything, give John Cena the last thing he hasn't done.
Exactly. There's almost no harm in it.
Yeah. Well, there's not a single bit of harm in it.
Yeah, pretty much at this point. The only harm in it is that you wouldn't get it put on a face afterwards.
Not necessarily. I mean, like,
unless he does it, unless it is like an Intercontinental Open Challenge.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all we want to see now, all we want out of John Cena is see him in good matches.
Yeah.
Like, not the main fucking event. And then eventually one day he puts over someone new in a big way. And we didn't get that with the U.S. title because fucking, first Seth wins it in a fuckery kind of way.
Big fuckery kind of way.
Then Cena wins it back, and they're like, oh, pretend that didn't happen, guys. But it was like, what, a month later that Del Rio comes back, wins it in like a shitty match.
The shittiest.
And then the U.S. title is back to being a piece of shit now?
Yeah.
Like, we didn't get that payoff we wanted for the U.S. Open title era. So, I mean, I don't know, maybe trying it again with the Intercontinental title?
It should be. There's 2 ways you can go with it. You can do face, and I honestly don't put much value in face versus heel or face or face or heel.
Yeah.
I just want good matches. And if there's a reason for it, I think it's worthwhile. So there's a reason for Cesaro and Cena because they both, during the Open Challenge, they did 2 matches on Raw, and both of them were Match of the Year contenders for what Raw pumps out.
Yeah.
They were unbelievably good matches. Cesaro Cena 2 was probably top 5 matches of last year. It was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
So you could either have Cesaro and Cena put on a big 3-part feud, or, and I think this is maybe a little bit more realistic, Cena gets the IC belt, and Kevin Owens goes, hey, I've beaten your ass before. That's my belt. Let's do this tango one more time, buddy.
Yeah.
I think that's a a good feud that has a very grounded reason for why they would feud and good matches that will come from it.
Yeah. Realistically, if John Cena were to win the belt at Money in the Bank, like win the Intercontinental title at Money in the Bank, you would want him to hold it until WrestleMania. Just fucking have him hold it for the long haul. You know, beat fucking everybody in good matches, but it's okay.
SummerSlam is not close. It's not far away enough.
Yeah. So, I mean, in Survivor Series, no one puts a whole lot of stake into Survivor Series anymore.
No, Survivor Series kind of doesn't.
Royal Rumble is good, but, you know, you don't want it to be outshined by the Rumble itself, which it is, because the Rumble is the match.
The Rumble is the Rumble.
And at WrestleMania, you know, every match, you know, conceivably is supposed to be a main event, realistically. Well, kayfabe, I guess you could say.
Yeah. So,
having that change of the guard happen at WrestleMania would be great. And I mean, I you know, not every match, not every angle can have a WrestleMania payoff. But I think if there's anything, you know, having the top guy with the mid-card belt, you know, putting over the division like that at WrestleMania would be great for it.
Yeah.
And I highly, because like they don't have that kind of long-term booking. They don't do that. So, you know, that probably won't happen. But I do think, like, the more I think about it, those two mid-card belts are, like, really wide fucking open right now.
They are.
But the thing is, we don't want to see Rusev lose it right away.
No. I don't want Cena. So I was thinking we could do it at SummerSlam. It'd be a bit rushed, but if Elimination Chamber comes back between now Battlegrounds and SummerSlam, that would give us time for a 3-part feud to have the payoff be at SummerSlam.
Payoff for what?
If there was like he gets the IC belt and then it's like Cesaro Cena 1 at Elimination Chamber, Cesaro Cena 2 at Battlegrounds, Cesaro Cena 3, the title finally changes hands, kind of thing at SummerSlam.
Well, if the title changes hands and the third match, then there's going to be a fourth match.
Yeah, that'd be the rematch.
So, like, you would have to have Cesaro win it the second match,
or
the first. Fine. But it's not going to happen. I don't think they're going to transition into the Cena loses the belt feud until like a little longer than that. Like his first feud is going to be with the Miz. You know, assuming that this happens, his first feud would be with the Miz. So like that's 2 pay-per-views already. Like even if he wins it on Raw the day he returns, they're still gonna have like, oh, Miz needs his rematch. You know, boom, Money in the Bank. And it's like, oh well, we need another pay-per-view match anyway.
Yeah.
You know, then fuck it, Battleground, whatever the next one is.
Snooze Ground.
So, yeah. So
literally
that's already
the pay-per-view with like no reason for it existing.
Right. But yeah,
at least Fastlane has a reason for existing.
Yeah, it replaced Elimination Chamber, which I totally understand because Elimination Chamber being the pay-per-view before Mania, retarded idea.
Doesn't make sense.
Because like your champion could get fucked up in that match. So yeah, like,
I'd rather just have the Elimination Chamber replace Battlegrounds. There's nothing about Battlegrounds.
Or have Battleground just have the Elimination Chamber match. Because like Elimination Chamber, the pay-per-view, you know, whatever. Like you could call it whatever you want as long as like, because like the Elimination Chamber wasn't always a pay-per-view, but it's been around since 2002. You know, and it would be at like random places, random pay-per-views, like random big ones like SummerSlam. Fucking, it was at New Year's Revolution, I think, in 2005. That was actually when the very first Money in the Bank cash-in happened. And the Money in the Bank wasn't always a pay-per-view. It used to happen at WrestleMania.
It happened at WrestleMania.
So, like, you know, I would like to see them start phasing out some of those gimmick pay-per-views and start, like, making those matches mean a little more and, like, be a little bit more surprising when it happens. Because when you're like, oh, Elimination Chamber, you know, is coming up in 3 months. We're going to have an Elimination Chamber match. You know, whatever. But, like, when it's like, you know, you're watching an episode of Raw, you're all jaded, you're like, look at this look at this fucking feud between, you know, the main event, what would possibly happen, maybe it's fucking SummerSlam Saturday, I don't know, fuck. And then suddenly the Shane McMahon, he's like, oh, well, it seems like you guys can't decide who the number one contender should be, and we tried having number one contender matches, but it always ends in fucking DQs and shit. So guess what? It's going to be you versus you versus you versus that guy versus the champion versus my dog in an elimination chamber match, and then everyone just fucking blows their load. Like, oh my god, it's coming this week.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, like that's why the gimmick pay-per-views with the titles, like, oh, you're guaranteed a Hell in a Cell here. And it kind of takes away, like, you know, they've had Hell in a Cells at WrestleMania and shit. Mm-hmm. It's like, good, but that's, you know, you got a pay-per-view for that too. And like, not every feud is going to be ready for the Cell at that point. Because the Hell in a Cell is supposed to be a big blow-off match. So when you have a pay-per-view dedicated to a fucking cage match, it's like, oh, well, these guys kind of weren't in a blood feud, so we're going to have to try and rush them, like maybe have somebody beat their wife. I don't know. Like, try to make it work, and then it never does. The only time I remember it syncing up was when the Shield, like, first broke up, and then Seth and Dean had this blood feud going on.
They had that blood, yeah.
It just ended up being in the Hell in a Cell fucking pay-per-view.
I remember watching that.
And that was perfect, but they also had another Hell in a Cell match between Randy Orton and John Cena for no fucking reason.
Because it was Orton Cena.
Yeah, and there was no reason for it.
The best reason of all, Orton Cena.
Anyway, I've rambled for quite a while.
We have gone off topic on that one first. I mean, it was a good off topic. That was definitely a good and relevant off topic.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I was going to be petering out during this particular show because fucking, you know, I'm winding down this week because I got work tomorrow.
That was pretty good though. We got it. Moving on, we have Jeans Ambrose versus heel Jericho.
Chris Jeansico.
In a first ever Asylum match.
Yeah.
So, rules of the Asylum match are, it's a cage match.
It's a real cage match.
It's a real cage match.
Fuck the WWE, but I'm glad this is a stipulation. The thing that sucks, I might fucking rant a little bit again here, but like the thing is, this match was not well received. I might have been the only person in the world that like kind of was enjoying myself this match, but a lot of people didn't like it.
We're gonna be on this match for a while. There's a lot to talk about.
And like, I think that's sad because this is what, not necessarily with the weapons, but everything else about this cage match is what a cage match should be.
Exactly.
Like the WWE cage match of like escape over the cage, that's okay, because like over the cage, that's effort. But escaping through the fucking door, and you've got a ref holding it open for you, walk out the fucking door. Walk out of it. Every time that spot happens in a match, it's like, oh, the wrestler's standing tall over the guy who's on the floor. He looks at the door. He's like, oh, I could escape now. Cool, okay. Well, let me take my sweet ass fucking time getting this goddamn door.
Yes.
And then it's stupid. It's retarded. The door is the worst thing on any cage match.
Exactly.
Ever. So even just...
And you get a million terrible crawling to the door spots.
Yeah. So, like, just by virtue of not having the door spot, this is already the greatest cage match in WWE history. I don't give a fuck. You could hate it. You could say I'm stupid. Like, oh, the Hardy Boys versus Edge and Christian or something. I don't know. I don't know what the greatest cage match in WWE history is right now. But even this fucking 15 minutes of nothing match in the middle of this match. It was
more than 15 minutes.
Well, the match was 26 minutes.
You looked it up?
The nothing that happened was about 10. But yeah, like, even with that, this as a cage match delivered better than any other fucking cage match the Big Show was fucking in, and he couldn't fucking lumber his big ass through the fucking
No,
door.
you said cage match, and you hating, but then you had to say cage match the Big Show is in?
I just remember
buddy.
Distinctly so many cage matches, and the Big Show is like the worst offender of slowly meandering his way to the fucking door.
Well, you picked the one guy that can't move fast. Of course he's doing lumber.
Even the Big Show can move fast enough to get out of a goddamn door.
Okay, truth be told, if the Big Show fell over, he's halfway through the door already.
Right. Like, I mean, it's walk through the door. A door. He had to walk through several doors to get there. He knows how to fucking get through a door. Everyone in the company knows how a door works.
Except Brock Lesnar, who tears the doors off.
Right. And, like, a cage match, what is it even good for if the door is an option?
It is. Exactly.
It's dumb.
It's really dumb.
It's dumb.
So that's not the only stipulation to the Asylum match. The Asylum match also features miscellaneous bullshit dangling above the cage that can be used as a weapon, including, but not limited to...
You didn't write down all of them?
Actually, I actually have all of them written down because all of them except one was used.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to recite all of them at this moment, but here we go. Kendo stick, mop, buckets, son of Mitch, leather yapapa strap, fire extinguisher, 2x4 with barbed wire.
The nunchucks.
Nunchucks, yep.
The nunchucks was like...
That was the
It was my favorite pull, because I was like, is he going to actually know how to use them?
I'm kind of mad.
He kind of did.
I think that was everything. We'll get to the nunchuck spot, because that's hilarious. That's actually freaking hilarious. I believe that's all the weapons, so that's all dangling above. And Straight jacket, yeah, shit, yeah. And to set this up, Jericho put Dean in a straight jacket. SmackDown?
I think so, yeah.
Before the go home Raw, and beat him up in it. So, anyways, Jericho yells for the door to open, but learns that the door is not going to be opening for anyone.
I loved that.
Yeah, so like round start, he's like, "Hey, get me out of here," and they're like, "No," because the camera, even when they're locking the cell, the cage, they have the regular like clasp lock, and then the ref puts a big ass chain padlock around it, like a second lock. Yeah. Like obviously it's locked to begin with, but that's just a regular WWE lock. And there's anything we learned about anything in WWE, it could break. Yeah. So they're like, no, you know what? Let's put this big ass chain around the door to solidify the fact that this thing isn't opening. Round start, Jericho's like, hey, get me out of here, you stupid idiot! Yeah. And he's like, and the ref's just like, hey, I can't open the chain. It's a pound of padlock. Do you not see this, Chris?
I can't even lift a pound.
Yeah.
I'm not you.
So they're really selling the point, like, hey, you're not escaping out this damn door, idiot. Yeah. And it's great because, like, I think somewhere at like the 20-minute mark, like somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes, Jericho tries for the door again. He seriously tries for the door again.
I mean, he's been in WWE cage matches his whole career, so it's kind of hard to forget that muscle memory.
Yeah. Most of this match is literally nothing meandering in the ring, followed by pondering which weapon they're going to take. It's kind of the pace of the match. So first up, Ambrose.
Also, from what I understand, I forget if it was from the desk of Dave Meltzer or just another dirt sheet, but apparently the reason why this match went on so long was because a segment got cut, and they gave this match an additional 10 minutes.
Oh, this match did not.
Before it started.
This match did not need an additional 10 minutes. Oh, that sucks. That actually really sucks. Ambrose first ponders his weapon and then gets intercepted by Jericho as he is grabbing for the mop. They're both up on the cage, kind of wrestling for it. Ambrose actually pokes Jericho on the side of the head with the mop, and it looked like he actually fucking hit him pretty badly. Yeah. It was not a good look.
Which, I mean, is their job.
Yes, this is true.
Props for them.
This is true. They're like, hey, lay it in. They go down to the mat, and Ambrose beats him up with the mop handle, and then turns it around and starts comically mopping him off. Right. Because he's so wacky. Jericho regains control and eyes the barbed 2x4 as Dean grabs the nunchucks. Jericho makes fun of him to a grand degree, being like, dude, I've got a 2x4 with barbed wire. What are you gonna do with those freaking nunchucks? And this is the spot LunaKage was really, really excited for, because he's like, is Dean gonna actually know how to do anything with the nunchucks?
Because I do. Fun fact.
Yeah,
I can use a set of nunchucks.
So Dean starts doing something with the nunchucks, and then fucks up, and then goes back to doing more things with the nunchucks. And it's really like fluid, like how he kind of recovered after the fuck
Well,
up.
the thing about the reach behind the armpit thing, it's a very standard thing, but it is kind of easy to like mess that up.
Yeah.
And it's not hard to recover from. It's not, unless you're planning on switching hands, which I don't do often because my left hand's retarded with shit like that. I keep it to fretting, and that's pretty much all it gets to do. But basically, he didn't really show anything that someone that knows how to use a pair could do. Like he did something that anyone could do. Fucking swing it past his hip, swing it past his other hip, swing it over his shoulder next to his head. Try to grab it. If he would have grabbed it, it still wouldn't have been impressive.
Exactly.
Because I'm a nunchuck snob. Granted, I'm not the best with nunchucks.
LunaKage, nunchuck enthusiast.
Nunchuck enthusiast. The greatest and most underrated of all weapons, the nunchuck.
So the way
the Japanese nunchuck.
Oh, God, dear God. Catch LunaKage this weekend on Access TV doing commentary for New Japan Pro Wrestling.
What's he saying? How do they know what each other's saying?
The way Ambrose does his nunchuck thing and fucks up and continues is actually very endearing and very, very entertaining.
Yeah.
Jericho charges him with a 2x4. Ambrose ducks and beats upon Jericho for a while with the nunchucks.
Something I want to mention about that, too. I thought for sure that the way that he was going to be hit with the nunchucks would be one of two ways. One, with the nunchucks, like, in the fist.
Yeah.
Like, fucking hitting him with the butt of it. Like, you can't see that. But, like, hitting him like fucking, it's, he's not swinging it, just fucking.
Like, spiking him with the bottoms of him.
Or, like, with Jericho on the floor, and then, he swigs the nunchucks, but then hitting, firmly the ring behind, like, under him instead of, but they were fucking. No, he was wailing out him with the nunchucks.
He's actually laying it in with the nunchucks.
Yeah.
Granted, they're probably rubber or something, but
even if they were,
still gonna
that
hurt.
Hurts.
It's still gonna hurt.
Take it from someone who knows. That hurts still.
Yeah, they're laying it in. Jericho races to the top to escape, and as Ambrose follows him, Jericho grabs the kendo stick to wail on Dean. Jericho picks up the chucks for some particularly loud sounding strikes. He really gets like the good cracks off on Ambrose when he's wailing on the thing. Next up, Jericho grabs the leather strap and he tells Ambrose, "Come here, whipping boy." Ambrose gets his turn at the strap, yada yada yada. Jericho selling the strap like a madman, which was really great because Jericho is wrestling shirtless.
Yeah.
So thank goodness for that.
Thank goodness that his shirt's off.
Yeah, I mean,
who's into men?
When you think about this canonically, how many times has Jericho actually worn a shirt in the past 4 months of Raw?
Yeah, not very many.
Yeah. So he wasn't about to change it up now.
He wore jeans.
This was a jeans asylum match.
This was his chance to change it up, but he wanted to show off his concave chest.
I used to be really, really cut, and now I'm disgustingly horizontal for some reason. Body
horizontal.
He's wide.
He is kind of wide.
He's really wide for some reason.
I mean, he still looks better without a shirt than I do.
Yeah.
You gotta give it to him.
I mean, props are props to do, but he's just got this like.
It's just like I can't get over that hole in his chest.
Yeah, it's
like,
really weird.
Kofi's got one too.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck.
It's muscle tear separation.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's like a real thing.
Yeah, Stephanie actually has one too.
No shit.
Yep.
Wow.
I apologize. It's a pectoral injury that causes that.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, it looks really gangly, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's really. Ugh.
Like, how do you work out your chest after that and, like, feel right about it?
I don't know, man.
Maybe that's why his pecs aren't that big anymore.
Probably. Yeah, it's at this point that Jericho tries for the door again, which is like an underrated spot.
Yeah.
Like, that's just, there's subtle brilliance in trying for the door a second time, as if
like maybe
as if the ref was just bullshitting you the first time around. Oh, that's right. And then Jericho calls the ref a stupid idiot for it.
Again.
God, it was beautiful. Dino grabs the fire extinguisher. Jericho grabs the straitjacket. He kind of throws it on Dean as he charges at him to blind him. With Ambrose dazed, he slides the jacket over him, but is unable to lock the jacket in. I love this next spot. Ambrose actually tries to do the wacky line, the meme clothesline. And I learned that on an episode of Raw, Cole actually called the rebound clothesline the wacky line.
Did he really?
He did.
That's why I don't watch Raw.
That's why I want Cole to stop everything.
Also, you guys like say that both you and Brian said that? No, he didn't. He didn't do the rebound clothesline.
He rebounded off. He went back, dude.
The rebound clothesline is between the second or the middle rope and the top rope.
Yeah.
That he literally jumped with his ass or lower back rather against the very top rope, and then came back.
Yeah, it was because it wasn't a rebound either because he wasn't hit.
Yeah.
He was just rebounding himself. He was just running up again.
So that most certainly was not the quote-unquote wacky line.
It was.
Good sir.
it doesn't matter because honestly, Ambrose was a complete idiot for trying it.
I am the Ambrose aficionado here. Okay?
Regardless of that, Ambrose was a dipshit for trying anything like that because the ropes were maybe 6 inches away from the cage.
I mean, like, they rebound off the ropes in cage matches all the time.
He didn't. He surely didn't.
He did it enough. But that rope sprung back when he fucking put all of his weight on one.
And then he hit the cage and it looked like shit.
Shit. They always hit the cage during rebounds, though.
It just looked like a complete freaking mess. Ambrose runs back, hits the rope to try and get some momentum. He hits the cage. It looks like a complete mess. At this point is where the crowd just absolutely loses interest. You're starting to hear boos. You're starting to get "We Want Rollins" chants.
In fairness, we did want Rollins.
In fairness, we did want and we did want Rollins.
Anybody but Roman. Where's Bray?
He's injured.
Fuck. He's not. I refuse.
He is.
I refuse.
He's been nursing injury for a long while.
No.
Finally, he's off.
No. I want Bray back.
Because, live from the desk of Dave Meltzer, he's supposed to have the title this year at some point.
Yeah. And the year's halfway over.
I know, it sucks.
Balls. Is he going to be the one taking off Roman?
I hope so. Oh my gosh. Some sort of fuckery happens at Money in the Bank. He's like, I got you last year, I'll get you again this year, boy.
Shit. Fuck.
If he was going to take it off him, I'd want him to be at SummerSlam. God's sakes. But injuries are injuries. And
I mean, we're just hoping that Roman loses it by SummerSlam, realistically.
He has to lose it. We'll get to that later. We'll get to that later. We got to finish off this shit fest. Crowd's so out of this match, and with good reason, because the past 10 minutes of this match has just been look at weapon, grab weapon, use weapon, meander, look at next weapon.
I think it's interesting, though, because normally when the crowd's not into the match, I notice it right away, and then I can't get into the match. But I didn't notice it until you pointed it out.
I was already out of the match.
I was into the match. I was enjoying myself. I'm like, I knew what kind of match it was going to be.
I was out of the match because I realized that it was turning into JoJo's Part 3, which is go place, meet person, defeat opponent, repeats.
I mean, fuck, that's shonen in a nutshell.
It is, but JoJo 1 and 2 weren't like that.
I mean,
that's because
get out of here, hipster. Revolve with the times, all right?
Sure.
Don't be a Vince. Don't be a Vince McMahon. You want to push your
Vince McMahon,
JoJo's 1 and 2 Roman Reigns.
Vince McMahon didn't even read JoJo's 1 and 2. Get the shit out of here. But that's the pace of the match. The pace of the match was kind of stale because it was just that rinse and repeat over weapons. Granted, it's a hardcore match, quote unquote, in the PG era with these weapons, so you have to entertain and use them to that effect. But there was really nothing in the match actually going on.
I mean, since the weapons were hung from the top, I knew exactly what I was going to be in store for this match. Mm-hmm. It was going to be brawl, climb up, get weapon, use weapon, climb up, get next weapon, use weapon. I'm just happy that it wasn't just fucking 15 minutes of only using the kendo stick and a chair.
Yes.
Because that's usually what hardcore matches boil down to nowadays. So.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioning that this match got extended makes a lot of sense. Because this match, if it was 15 minutes long, would have been fucking amazing.
Yeah.
This match did not.
Because it would have been all kill or no filler.
Exactly.
That's a cheap plug for fucking
Sum 41.
Sum 41 album.
Great Sum 41 album.
Was.
There was just a 10-minute filler mark in the match, and it really hurt. The pace of the match just completely fell apart. Because, I mean, I like the fact that they're going up grabbing weapons, but after the fact that they grabbed everything except the mop, the bucket, and the son of Mitch, you're like, okay, what are we doing now?
Now, in fairness, I would have much rather keep what we got.
Yes.
Than have, like, fucking a 10-minute Shining Stars segment or fucking another fucking Shane and Stephanie promo in the back.
That is true. We didn't have a Shane and Stephanie promo this pay-per-view.
Yeah, or like fucking maybe another interview with Roman or something. How do you feel about this match? It's like, you know, like
watch in peril as JoJo somehow handles a microphone that's exactly 1/4 the size she is.
Right.
God.
Like whenever that's up to her face, I'm like, that's gotta be what it looks like.
Lewd.
Yeah, it's a big black dick. It's a big Samoan cock.
It's the Samoan cock. Anyways, the match is about to actually get to the interesting part. Now that we've given out about the middle of this match just being the fucking drag. Where are my notes? Okay, Ambrose climbs to the top of the cage and delivers a flying elbow. Yeah. Jericho takes it like a king.
And it was a great spot, but fucking no one noticed it.
The crowd was already in their death zone. They didn't care at this point.
I was super disappointed.
It is actually really disappointing because it was a great spot.
I'm sure Ambrose was even looking around like, what the fuck, man?
It's really, really disappointing. It's a great spot. The crowd's just so dead with this match. And Ambrose goes for the mop bucket. And we're like, okay, what's the bucket gonna do?
Right.
And he pulls the bucket down, and we realize that there's a lid on the bucket. We're like, oh, okay, so it's a lidded bucket. Great. Opens up the lid, grabs a velvet bag, and all of a sudden, my butt's on the edge of my seat, because I know what a velvet bag means. Yeah. It's thumbtack.
Did you know what that means?
Yeah.
I know what that means. I think it was Brian that didn't know what it meant.
You did. Mick Foley's my favorite wrestler, dude. Oh, how am I not going to know what a velvet bag means?
You're right.
So, yeah. He opens it up, and it's thumbtacks. He just pours it out. Camera close-up cuts to Jericho's face. He looks petrified.
Yeah.
He is giving out about this. He's got his head turned, eyes out the side of his face like a cartoon character, just trying to get out of his own skin. He's so scared. They do all these big spots next to the thumbtacks, teasing someone falling into it, reversals on grabs, reversals on all sorts of little suplexes and things. It's great at this point. You're just waiting and waiting. Dean gets caught up in the walls, but is able to grab the kendo stick and whack Jericho in the head until he escapes. Dean goes to the top rope, but Jericho grabs a fire extinguisher and gasses the shit out of him with it. He also hits the code breaker, but can't get the 3. Jericho starts hitting Dino with the barbed wire 2x4 as he taunts Dean to get up.
Really gingerly, I might add.
Really gingerly. This is true. Jericho goes for the code breaker a second time, but Dean catches him and then turns over and dumps him on the tacks. Jericho sells like high def because it honestly hurts like a motherfucker. Dean hits him with dirty deeds, attacking himself in the process. Dean gets the 3 as Jericho post-match is still selling like God Almighty as the medical staff roll up to the cage and start pulling the thumbtacks out one by one.
Yeah.
And there's a great little spot where after he wins the match, Ambrose is kind of selling over his elbow, which has exactly one thumbtack perfectly placed in it.
Yeah.
It's kind of fucking beautiful how there's only one thumbtack in there he's giving out. Meanwhile, the camera cuts back and like Jericho's got 70 thumbtacks in him.
Yeah.
Jericho's just thumbtack
I
city.
mean, you say comical, but that one thumbtack in his elbow
probably hurts like a son of a
yeah.
It's just there's a comparison on the other side of the ring.
It's like that guy's homeless. Yeah, but that guy's homeless and missing a leg.
Yeah.
You know, like both things bad. One substantially more bad.
So the match could have been great with 10 minutes taken out of it.
Yeah.
And I briefly mentioned this to you, and I said I'd go into it during the show, knowing that the match was 10 minutes longer. I think there should have been a protected barbed wire spot to draw minimal blood, but just a little bit of blood. I.e., Jericho goes for a barbed wire shot, and Dean blocks with his forearms, and he gets a little scraped up. That lets the crowd know that, hey, this isn't them just beating at each other with completely safe weapons for the next 15 minutes. Oh shit, something happens. We have some blood going on here. Like, hey, and it's not like you're gonna give out and just, blade the shit out of yourself off these things. Foley's not gonna rake it across your face, but that would have been something in the middle of that match to help the crowd stay into it instead of them just falling into the lull.
I mean, blood would have definitely helped. Just any blood in general.
Any blood in general. I know I'm asking a lot out of a match that had a little bit of blood from thumbtacks, but if that was put in the middle of the match, that would have saved the match.
Especially when we got blood with a thumbtack.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, it wasn't a whole lot, but there was.
And I'm not looking for a lot of blood out of the barbed wire spot that I'm proposing. I'm just looking for it to show up very minimally to let the crowd know, oh shit, something's happening.
I don't know, because they normally, like, even back in the old days of WWF, they wouldn't cut up other parts of the body.
Mm-hmm.
So like if there was going to be any blood outside of the obvious blood you're going to get from the thumbtacks, it would be from blade.
Yeah.
So yes, there should have been blood, just straight up.
There should have been
not like a protected 2x4 to the arms, maybe get a good cut, no bruise. No.
Well,
this was a war.
Yeah, but you're not. It's PG. Blading's banned. There's a fine for it anytime anyone blades. You have to cut yourself or open yourself up off something other than blade.
Yeah.
The 2x4 is the only weapon in there outside of the thumbtack that you're actually going to be able to do it. You can take a protected headshot and try to get something across your forehead. Just let the 2x4 with the barbed wire hit somewhere that isn't like a protected shirt.
Honestly, I don't think that barbed wire was actually barbed.
I don't think it was either.
In fairness. And honestly, that'd be better if the barbed wire wasn't barbed, because then you could fucking hit them harder, and it would be it would be cushioned by the fucking springy fucking wire.
I'm only thinking it might have been because of how gingerly Jericho was hitting Ambrose with it.
Yeah.
But something like that would have helped the middle section of the match. Other than that, it was a fine match. It was a match that should have been a lot better, but because of the circumstances, it wasn't. Which is just kind of a disappointing situation. Next up we have... Oh, motherfucker, this match. Charlotte versus Natalya. Submission match with Ric Flair banned from the ringside. Judy Bagwell on a forklift match.
Yeah.
So Rick is banned from ringside, and if he shows up, Charlotte will actually have to cough up the title to Natty. So there's no fuckery DQ finishes in this one now, is there? A fair amount of mat wrestling to start the match. Great spot with a surfboard that Charlotte escapes, but continues to use the surfboard leg lock to balance uprights. That takes some core muscles to pull that one off. So
props. Takes some leg muscles too.
Core is balancing leg to maintain the lock.
Yeah.
That is much more technical than the average maneuver.
Yeah. But I believe that was like the only spot that was worth note in this one.
Pretty much. Let me go through with my notes. Charlotte tries to start a figure 4, but Natty rolls it into a counter. Natty rolls it up as a counter, but because it's a submission match, she then rolls out of that roll up into an armbar.
Yeah, which was nice. That's Natty.
That's she gets it. Who doesn't get it is the ref, because during one of these submissions, like one of these early submissions, the ref starts counting. Someone was up against the ropes.
Yeah.
It was Natty's beating up on Charlotte against the rope, and the ref's like, hey, get off the ropes, 1, 2, 3, and it's a submission match only, will win, so there's no DQ. So the ref, there's no reason for the ref to be counting at all.
Yep.
And that happens earlier on. Back to the armbar. Charlotte powers out to transform it into a power bomb, much like the schoolboy power bomb kind of thing, but not exactly. Because Lord knows Charlotte needs more Roman moves.
Yes, basically both of the champions are just Roman Reigns at this point.
I'm Roman Reigns,
so
but you...
The only woman we could use as our women's champion is a woman that's Roman Reigns. Woman Reigns.
You said you wanted the women's division to be taken seriously. Well, now there's fuckery, and Roman Reigns is in the title scene.
Yeah.
Be careful what you wish for next time, kids.
I guess so.
Charlotte does her moonsault. It's like 8 out of 10 instead of 9 out of 10. Natty slaps on the sharpshooter.
8 out of 10 moonsault.
Yeah. Natty slaps on the sharpshooter. The crowd starts looking to the entrance for a while. I don't know if they were preemptively looking to the entrance or if the finish to this match has started and the music hadn't hit yet. Anyways, Charlotte... Okay, that's right. Charlotte grabs the ropes for when Charlotte grabs the ropes as she's in the sharpshooter, and the ref starts counting for Natty to release.
Mm-hmm.
I can maybe forgive beating up on the ropes because that's just a standard fair ref thing. But this is actually a fucking submission match.
Yeah.
This is the one match where you can't fuck that one up.
Yeah.
So the ref is not on his shit, right? And commentary might have mentioned this.
Maybe.
I think commentary might have mentioned...
They've been getting a little bit better at that.
Yeah, I think commentary mentioned the fact that the ref was counting, despite this, you can't being DQ, it's a submission match. Anyways, Ric Flair's music hits, and very obviously not Ric Flair starts walking backwards down the ramp in the classic Nature Boy gear. It turns out to be Dana Brooke, who causes a huge distraction, and Charlotte locks the figure 8 out for the win. Match is complete bowl of fuckery, kind of lame, kind of short. There was a ton of stipulations in play, and they had to have some really lame fuckery match.
What a great way to fucking legitimize your brand new women's championship than by having it fucking be decided in this way ever since its inception.
And then the next night on Raw, which is tonight, which is actually technically yesterday. God, follow that timeline.
Which will probably be fucking 2 days from now when this finally gets coming.
Follow this timeline. Charlotte, Dana, and Rick go into the ring. It's kind of a train wreck, kind of a massive train wreck, but Charlotte turns heel on Rick. Pretty much like, hey, Rick's like, oh, I'm so proud of my baby girl. That's my rendition of him, because he's obviously drunk as shit for this.
Yeah.
This is the most obvious showcase of Ric Flair drunk on TV. And then Charlotte's like, you know what I remember from my childhood? You not being there, ever, because you're on the road. Piece of shit. You're the second dirtiest player of the game. I'm the best. Like, she actually really starts laying it in. The crowd is having none of it. They started
Fucking Rick's crying, Charlotte's crying, Dana's standing there like a
awkwardly.
Like what was that segment?
The promo was in complete tailspin for the first couple minutes.
Charlotte doesn't know how to get the crowd back on track.
No.
She doesn't know how to take advantage of the crowd booing her. She's not comfortable.
No, she completely belly flops when the crowd starts being against her. And so she just ramps up the energy and starts blasting through her promo. And in fairness, she did get it back under control, but there was a moment there where this promo looked like it was destined for absolute fucking
I mean, by the
failure.
time she got it back under control, she was fucking crying.
Yeah, and those were not work.
It's kind of hard.
Those were not work tears.
Right. It's kind of hard to like be a dastardly heel when you're having this emotional breakdown while you're fucking doing it.
Yeah.
It's
Granted,
completely out of left field, completely unnecessary. Like, if you wanted to get Rick out of TV, there's better ways to do it.
how do you turn heel when you're already a heel?
Yeah, like what was the purpose of this?
They're definitely not faces or tweeners.
Like, normally when a heel turns on another heel, that's a babyface turn.
It's more
This
like
was certainly not that.
it's more like Charlotte grabbed Rick by the shoulders and then spun him around and then pushed him towards babyface.
Yeah, like it's, I don't know. I don't know what the point of this was.
Like by the end of the segment, it was so emotionally packed that you kind of got what was going on, that you felt what was going on. But the first 5 minutes of this was the biggest tailspin train wreck, death spiral.
And like
It was hard to
the
watch.
whole promo was marketed as the state of the women's title.
The state of the women's
It's
title.
the state of that promo.
Oh
but
my God.
like at the end of it, we had no idea what was going on.
There
with
was
the women's
no
title.
state of the women's title.
So we don't know what match we're in store for.
You
at the
just
next
get
fucking pay-per-view.
yeah. It was.
It was hard to watch.
It ended well, but the train ride there was filled with like a roller coaster.
Did it really end well though? I don't think it ended very well.
I think it was emotionally. It was by the time they got to the climax of the promo, there was enough emotion running through it where it felt like, hey, there's something actually happening here. But Jesus, did it?
Yeah, there was something happening, but it didn't make sense.
It didn't make a lick of sense. The promo, like let's break it down like this. The fact that the promo is existing makes no damn sense.
Yeah.
But accept life as it is, we're already in the promo. Towards the end, we can't go back and stop this promo from happening.
It sounds a lot like my life.
So now we just gotta accept the fact we're here and make the best of what we have. First half of it, biggest train wreck I've seen in a long time. Second half of it, it's under control. Yelling, screaming, crying, emotions are at play. Charlotte's at that point, Charlotte's pretty much running through her promo very well.
She's sprinting through her
She's
promo.
sprinting through her promo. It helps her promo out a lot because there's so much emotions at play. She gets through it okay at the end, but God in heaven, was it a train wreck in the beginning. So, if you ever want to test your mental fortitude, sit down and try and make it through the first half of this promo. You might be rewarded by the end, depending on how you like it, but holy God, you will need to brace for this to show up on Botchamania. That's probably going to be the best way to watch this. Anyways, on to the main event of the evening. It's Roman Man versus a guy with actual talent. How will our babyface be carried this match? How will he overcome his own wrestling? I'm actually shitting on Roman a little too hard. He did very good in this match. AJ is cheered, Roman is booed, a bear shit in the woods.
These are the facts of life.
These are the facts of life.
Vince McMahon will never die.
Lilies! These are for when people die. I'm never gonna die. What have you heard? Tell me.
Are you saying I'm gonna die someday? I'm never gonna die. What have you heard?
God, how much more self-aware can you get than that line?
The thing is, though, that's not self-aware because that was written by someone that's not in the business. It was written by one of us, basically.
That was written by Seth
It's just they got Vince McMahon to say
Oh my God.
That's the best part.
He probably had a riotous old laugh over it. He probably knows what's up.
Yeah.
the big question of the match is how much fuckery is going to happen with the club and the Usos. Not much support in the early going because Roman is very spot heavy, but much like Payback, him and AJ do a very good job building a match as babyface versus monster. Roman does a kitchen sink. Whoa, that's a new move. As AJ charges him, they go outside, include a chair. Roman hits the stairs with the chair when AJ dodges and has like a delayed reaction to selling the impact shock in his hands. It was kind of cheeky, not the best. AJ preps an announce table, but forearms Roman over the barricade, and they do the big strolling brawl through the arena. Yeah. They go
classic
all the way.
Spot.
Yeah, classic spot. They do the one thing that helps this spot along greatly, because normally the spot kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Sucks big time.
It sucks, but we usually like it because it's hard not to.
It's hard. It's a very likable spot, but you can definitely feel it kind of suck the energy out of the match sometimes.
It's definitely filler.
It's big time filler, but enjoyable at times. Once they get about 2/3 of the way, they actually go to the pre-show kickoff table and do a couple spots with that, which was definitely a good choice to help mitigate the "this is so obviously filler" feeling. And I liked it a lot. I actually really dug the whole brawl because they involved the kickoff table. I thought it was great. Where are my notes? I lose where I am all the time when I start turn away from the laptop. They re-enter the wrestling ring as AJ takes off the barricade's protection and spikes Roman off of it. He then reveals the concrete floor and teases the style clash. But in a comedic bit, he can't get all of the protecting of the floor off. So he pulls off half of it and kind of steps on it. The ref picks up the cue, comes over and steps on the half, and keeps it held back.
The refs, the unsung heroes.
The refs are the unsung heroes, for sure. So good on the ref for that one. Roman reverses as Roman then grabs and tries to powerbomb AJ through the table. However, AJ strikes him and lays Roman on the table instead. AJ teases the clash once again while on the table, but Roman reverses. AJ charges Roman, but Roman backbody drops him from one table to another quite beautifully, I may add.
Yeah.
A really, really great look on this one. They roll back into the ring for a pin attempt, and Roman adds another move to his repertoire with a sick-looking crucifix sit-out powerbomb for a 2.999, which honestly looked like a 3.001 pin.
And fucking Roman was super proud of himself for that too, because he was getting hyped.
He has every right for that one. That was a great. So once again, going back to the camera, ref, Roman, AJ. After the crucifix sit-out powerbomb, the ref's counting to 3, and he does the thing where he kind of nearly hits the mat and then kind of like swipes away to not hit the mat. But because you have the refs back to you, it honestly looks like you almost got the 3 right there. You thought it was like a 3.111 instead of a 2.999. Great bit. Yeah. Everything about that was clean as shit. So nice to see a big, really sick and original to the current roster, as we know, power move be added to Roman's list.
Yeah.
Roman tries for a Superman punch, but AJ viciously tackles him out of it, and Roman sells for a knee injury. Roman, they're in the air, and AJ shoulder tackles him out of the air. It's actually a lot of impact going on. Shit, I lost my thought again. They go to the outside as Roman catches a head scissor and slams AJ into the apron LED, and it was hard as shit. It is a very, very discernible smack when he hits this thing. Roman then throws AJ through the table, but comically, only the top piece of the table falls, and the 3 side legs of the table, I would say, don't go anywhere. Yeah. He just kind of falls through the trap door of the table.
It was pretty funny.
It was comical. Let's see. Roman sets up the spear from AJ, Roman sets up the spear, but AJ dodges, and Roman goes through the barricade. AJ then rolls Roman back into the ring, setting up for the phenomenal forearm, only to be Superman punched off the top rope. Once on the outside, Roman hops over the steel stairs to spear AJ, but pinfalls need to happen inside the ring. Roman is at least doing a good job periodically selling his knee, which we've had issues in the past where Roman's not doing his selling correctly, so once again, credit where credit's due. Roman rolls AJ into the ring as the club enter, and Boot of Doom Roman, pulling AJ over Roman for the pin, but Roman kicks out. The Usos run in and do the exact same thing to the club, dragging Roman over AJ, and then AJ kicks out. Roman punches the club away, sets up for a spear for AJ. AJ rejects it and hits Roman with a Styles Clash. Roman, however, kicks out. They brawl as AJ eventually Styles Clashes Roman onto a chair, and then is pulled from the pin by an Uso. AJ finally gives in to his heel tendencies, grabs a chair, and spends probably 90 seconds just wailing on Roman and both of the Usos.
He was trying his damnedest to remove Samoa.
He was about to remove Samoa.
But of course.
Yeah, of course.
Roman can't sell.
No. Well, in Roman's defense, he's dead in the water at this point. Supposed to be. He's got to take his nap somewhere, dog. He's just going to have to take a nap while a chair's being railed onto him. After a massive offense, AJ takes off his elbow guard and sets up for the phenomenal forearm. As AJ jumps in, Roman jumps up at him and spears him out of the air absolutely perfectly. Roman gets the 3 count and retains his championship. We'll talk about post-match afterwards, but we'll talk about the quality of this match first. Great match.
Yeah.
Definitely have issues, but for what it is, knowing full well that this is going to be a make Roman look strong match, yeah. Roman did his part. He has 2 new moves. He had good selling, and he didn't get a rest spot, despite the fact that fuckery was involved.
Until the end, where he completely no-sold 90 chair shots.
This is true.
And then got up and was able to spear AJ out of the air.
Spear out of nowhere!
Except for that. And I swear to God, take that fucking vest off and he'll be able to feel those chair shots.
Yeah.
Maybe
was this our first example of kayfabe, the chest protecting him? The chest vest protecting him?
I mean, realistically, fucking every time he takes a fucking hit that's not to the head, that fucking thing's protecting him.
Yeah.
If you think about it. You could say that the reason why he was able to kick out of those Styles clashes was because he had the vest on.
I mean, realistically, yes. But you could make the actual kayfabe example that the chair shots were not effective because he had the vest on, which would be the first time that they've actually acknowledged in kayfabe, hey, he's got this big fucking vest on.
Except they won't.
No, they won't.
They're not going to.
They're not going to acknowledge it. But it makes me feel a lot better about the match when I do that in kayfabe. When I do kayfabe for them. But great match.
The 2 matches of the night were this one and the Fatal 4-Way.
Yep.
I lean towards this one a little more. But again, it's like both matches had people who won that fuck it. Like it's not like I thought that AJ was going to win, but I feel like the fact that the club was completely wasted the entire feud.
The entire feud.
The whole subplot with the club and the Usos, it would have been fine if this was going to a place where it was going to matter and make a difference, but it didn't.
No.
So there was no reason.
Exactly.
All you did was manage to make the club look weaker than they should have.
And not even weaker than they should. Weak as shit. Let's not mix words here.
Yeah. And, I mean, if anything, it made AJ look weaker in their first match because the club intervened. And, the club intervened and he still couldn't win. And in this match, at least you could make the case that AJ would have won off of that second clash if it wasn't for the Usos dragging him off. But at least, again, the Usos were actively going against AJ as opposed to just against the club. Because in their first match at Payback, the club came in, beat the fuck out of Roman. AJ didn't realize it, couldn't win, but the Usos didn't get involved on Roman's behalf. They just came out and beat up the club and made sure they wouldn't get involved again.
Mm-hmm.
This match, at the very least,
The Usos saved Roman.
The Usos saved Roman, actively tried to beat up AJ. At least it was even in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't need all that. Like if you were just gonna have AJ lose in a clean, decisive, even manner, then just fucking do it in a one-on-one match. You know, like fucking we didn't need the
The Payback match was fine for what it was, but the fuckery in this match was completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like you could have cut the entire part where Styles clash on a chair happens, Club runs out, Usos run out. You could probably even cut out the Usos getting real with the chair out, and then you would have had a one-on-one match.
But I mean, like, all that stuff happening is fun and exciting, and it's fine. But like, I believe that it was at the expense of the club as opposed to like building them as any kind of threat. Because the whole idea was, I was fine with it as long as this was going to lead to the club making a difference in the finish one way or another. Meaning, like, if they are siding with AJ, AJ wins. If they end up siding with Roman, like that idea I had, then Roman wins because.
Or if they at least turn against AJ, they make AJ lose.
But that didn't happen.
None of that happens.
That didn't happen at all. So involving the club and having them take those losses before this match even happened was pointless. It was dumb. It did nothing to help them. I mean, I guess you could say being involved in the main event kind of helped them.
No, it barely did.
Really?
It made them look like... It made them J&J security.
Yeah, like they...
They were just J&J security,
That's
but
all
with
they were.
an added foot on them.
Yeah, that was it. And, like, you know, they didn't end up mattering. They didn't side with Roman. They didn't side with AJ. And fucking Finn Balor didn't end up coming out. You know, like, I didn't expect him to. But some people were like, oh, maybe the Balor Club. Balor Club's probably going to happen because now, you know, there's no AJ in the club. Mm-hmm. The club are on their own now.
They better call it bulletproof.
I do think that AJ's next feud is probably going to be Finn Balor.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that that's probably a good
they'll be able to string him along until... do you think Finn debuts and they fight at Money in the Bank?
Maybe. I mean, when's the next match between Joe and Balor?
God, when is... I think it's within the next...
Yeah, it's not going to be at a TakeOver show, is it?
It is.
Is it?
It's TakeOver Dallas.
Dallas already happened.
Well, where are they going against this? Are they doing TakeOver Vegas? 1 second, let me look it up.
Well, TakeOver Vegas would be Money in the Bank.
Yeah, but I don't think it's at Money in the Bank.
Researching.
TakeOver. When's the next one?
Luckily, this can be edited out. This fucking dead air.
Yeah. TakeOver Revenge, June 8th. When? Yeah, and that's actually still in Florida. Never mind. It's TakeOver Revenge. That's going to be your Hell in a Cell match for Joe and Balor.
They're having a Hell in a Cell match?
Yeah.
I thought it was just a cage.
It says Hell in a Cell match.
Oh, shit.
At least according to Wikipedia. So.
I believe Money in the Bank is after that.
Yeah.
So it's very possible that we could have Balor debuting really soon.
Mm-hmm.
At least it could be Balor. He could be Balor. He could be appearing at Money in the Bank. Like maybe, I mean, you would think that today on Raw, they built up AJ versus the club.
Mm-hmm.
Most certainly. And AJ lost his qualifier match. Clean. Oddly enough. I didn't expect that.
No, me neither.
But since it was to put over Kevin Owens, and the last time they had a match, you know, Kevin Owens lost clean, It's fine. Like, 50-50 booking is okay if they both deserve it.
Yeah.
And they both could use it. But,
and it doesn't come the night after.
Right. So AJ's going to need something to do for Money in the Bank. So it's possible that it could be the tag team, the club versus AJ. Like, I don't know, maybe they'll be like, oh, AJ needs a partner to take on the club, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And then the equalizer for the club ends up being Finn Balor. Like, he comes out and interferes at the pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
That's a possible thing. But again, like, you can't realistically turn Finn Balor heel on the main roster while he's still a babyface on NXT.
Exactly.
It wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. So
yeah.
I think we should probably expect him at Money in the Bank. And then AJ will probably go into a feud against the entire Balor club, but against Finn Balor specifically.
He better lose, because if you're gonna have bulletproof at this point, they need to at least look somewhat strong.
I mean, in fairness, yes, but at the same time, stop having AJ lose.
I know
he's lost 3 pay-per-views in a row.
I know it hurts, Bubby, but
he's lost 3 in a row, 3 pay-per-views in a row.
Balor Club needs to look strong, otherwise they're gonna go. You're gonna go beat Social Outcasts.
I mean, shit, have the Social Outcasts join the Balor Club.
Oh
Numbers.
Yeah, numbers game.
Numbers.
I'd rather have Social Outcasts join the Wyatt family.
I mean, fuck.
Yeah. Anyways, we've spent enough time on fantasy booking this episode. We'll stop it. Anyway, end of Extreme Rules 2016. Roman celebrating with his championship.
Oh yeah, championship.
With his championship.
He's celebrating with his chorus of booze.
With his chorus of booze. But suddenly there's cheers because Seth freaking Rollins runs in.
Seth, you're the man now, dog.
Seth,
Rollins.
you're the man now, dog. He runs in, pedigrees Roman, grabs his belt, and you can tell where they're going to set this up. And thus ends your 2016 edition of Extreme Rules.
Yep.
Much better pay-per-view than I was expecting.
Yeah, it was good. And you said let's stop fantasy booking. But, I mean, at the end of the show, we always start fantasy booking.
I need to drive you home, Luna. I'm putting a ban on your fantasy booking right the fuck now.
Hey, this was your idea. I hope you know that.
Fucker. Alright, you better have... I know what you're going to fantasy book. You have 5 minutes. It's 1:15 a.m.
Okay,
Go.
So Dean's already in the Money in the Bank match. Have him win it. Extend the Roman versus Seth feud up until SummerSlam. And at SummerSlam, you have that match happen and have Dean do a preemptive cash-in. Not like, like cash-in in the middle of the match, but have him be like, hey, I want to be in this too. And then you have your Shield triple threat at SummerSlam for the title, and you have a good setup for it too. It's not just shoehorned in there.
Yep. We were talking about that as soon as the pay-per-view ended. We're like, please, This is the perfect chance for the Shield 3-way.
Yeah. And on another note, they're currently having Seth be a heel, which was confirmed this episode of Raw. But he cut a heel promo, but keep in mind the pipe bomb was a heel promo too. He bashed the fans in that promo, but he got over his fuck and he had his face turned gradually, and it happened. Before you knew it, he was a face. CM Punk, I mean. So Seth could very well be on his way to a babyface turn.
Yeah.
Because realistically, fucking Roman is not going to get cheered over Seth. Vince has to realize it.
I don't know what Vince realizes anymore. That's just right. I'm yawning. Anyways, final thoughts on Extreme Rules 2016.
It was okay. It was good. I enjoyed it. It was better that Seth came back at the end, because if not, it would have been a disappointing end to a pay-per-view.
Yeah, it was an above average pay-per-view that became a good pay-per-view when Seth ended it.
Yeah.
There was a little bit too much fuckery.
It was Extreme Rules.
Yeah.
Fuckery is to be expected.
Okay, not that type of fuckery.
No.
Miz winning IC belt.
Yeah.
And the added 10 minutes to the silent match.
Right, yeah.
If those two things didn't happen, this would have been a fucking barn burner of a pay-per-view.
Yeah. Yeah, Miz left a question mark in our mouth.
Yeah.
at least the question mark of Roman winning without the club being on his side was answered right after he won. So
Yeah.
that was okay too.
It was a good pay-per-view with a couple small changes. It could have been a very good pay-per-view.
Yeah, but it was all right.
Yeah, no, I'd give claps for it. It was enjoyable to watch, and I enjoyed most of it. So, looking forward to Money in the Bank. Honestly, post-mania this year, WWE's been doing pretty,
which is great.
fucking good.
Normally, post-mania is off.
Yeah, no, they've been kind of on their shit since post-mania.
Yeah, and it had a lot to do with AJ Styles.
It did.
It
really did.
Shout outs to my man AJ.
I'm sure he hears you.
He probably listens to our show.
It's going to keep you up at night dreaming. Anyways, we're signing off for the night. This is Mr. Yusuck. Follow me on Twitter at MRUSUK.
This is LunaKage. You can follow me on Twitter at the only LunaKage, because I'm the only one, not that furry guy who is furry, I guess, who's gay. You don't know? I haven't told you that story.
I think you have. I'm pretty sure you have.
That's a story for another episode.
That's a story for that.
This is your cliffhanger.
Yeah.
This episode.
I need to drive you home. I want to go to bed sometime this morning.
Right.
Anyways, that'll be it for us. Join us for the next pay-per-view as we celebrate officially 1 year of Unnamed Wrestling Podcast as we ring in Money in the Bank 2016.
That's our anniversary in the bank.
Anniversary in the Bank
Show me
episode.
what you drank.
Yes. Exactly, LunaKage. Exactly. Good night.